Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and yes, we are doing another episode. It's been a while of Show Us Your Dubs, and I got Mike and Fran Janniro here. They have a 1956 Beetle, and I've been meaning to interview them for quite some time now. It's almost a year now. He came to my Fall Foliage cruise back last year in 2022, and such an interesting guy. Great story about this car, and I just getting around to it now to do this interview. Just been super busy at the shop, guys, and I'm trying my best to get these videos out. So I'm gonna let Mike and Fran talk about their car. It's a real cool car. It's actually has a little Hollywood experience, this car, so that's pretty cool. And if anybody wants to be interviewed and show us your dub, pop me an email or pop me a comment in the comment section below this video, where we could talk about your VWs. Got to be a special car, guys. Something maybe family oriented or something that's had a great history. We'd love to talk about it. So I'm gonna send it off to Mike and Fran. Take it away, guys.
Okay, so it's a 1957.
My bad. 57. They're so close.
It's close. Same thing.
Yep.
Do you want me to tell a little bit of a background before we get into the car?
Yeah, we can start that. Mike did give me some footage of his car going around, so we will cut and go to Mike describing the car, which is like the first time I've had a guest on where he actually takes control of the camera and goes around with a wireless microphone and talks about it. So it came out pretty professional. I gotta give hats off to Mike there.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Janniro, and today we'd like to show you our 1957 Deluxe VW Oval Beetle. We call her Abbey Road, and what we're going to do first of all is walk around the car, do a 360 of it, and I'll give you some of the history and some of the details of the car. And then after that, we'll take a closer look at everything else on the car, the interior, the exterior, and in the trunk area. So let's get started. Abbey rolled off the assembly line in Wolfsburg, Germany on 28 January 1957. She is a deluxe model with red leatherette seats, first year of the tubeless tires, and the latest hydraulic braking system. In 1957, there were only 38,129 VW sedans produced, and she is distinctive for her rear oval window. Ovals were produced between 1953 and 1957. Abbey is still a 6-volt system. She was imported to Boston and sold to the first owners who lived in Baltimore, Maryland. They paid $1,495, about $1 per pound, and they kept it for 25 years. The next owner faithfully maintained Abbey's originality and also arranged for her to star in the movie Tin Men with Richard Dreyfuss and Danny Devito.
You want to know what our big crime is? We're nickel and dime guys. Just small-time hustlers. We got caught because we were hustling nickel and dime.
Nickels and dimes. You got a good point there, BB. Nickels and dimes. Nickels and dimes.
On 3 September 2017, we found Abbey for sale at the Dominion Raceway Bugout in Thornburg, Virginia. I could not find any sign of rust or body damage, and everything opened and closed with perfect alignment. We bought the car and drove it 70 miles on Interstate 95 to its next, and I'm sure, final home. We thought about keeping the patina look, but decided on an extensive restoration without removing the body from the frame. We sent off for the birth certificate from Wolfsburg Museum in Germany. If the owner thinks they have the original engine, they must provide the engine number to the museum and they will confirm it. We were ecstatic to receive 2 documents, one for the general features of the car and the other confirming it was the original engine. During the restoration process, the engine was rebuilt with the original specifications, and we verified every imaginable part number on the car and saw firsthand how well Abbey was cared for over the years. Now that you know some of Abbey's history, let's take a closer look at her originality. If you notice, by looking at the front of the car, the first thing that you see is the fog lights. The fog lights we found in Italy. They're Bosch scripted, and they're 60 years old. They were still in the original box. We have the Our lenses, the lights are still stamped, the lenses. The blinkers are still here on the lower part of the fender. And the next year in 1958, they would have moved to the top. It's an accessory toolkit that was mainly used back in the 50s and the 60s. You can see it's still patina. All the original Hazard tools are there. And then you can notice the jack. This is the original jack. The gas tank is painted blue-gray, which would be the correct color. The cardboard, I removed already, but all the cardboard is still original. This is the original toolkit. And then we have our gas gauge, which is in liters and gallons. The glove box is original cardboard. The wiring was all redone. We did the rewiring on this particular car. The wiring harness goes over the passenger roof to the engine. If you notice the Bakelite blinker switch, which is sort of unique today because not many people have that, but it still works. And the first thing you can see are the white wall tires. These are the original hubcaps. They are stamped inside. Notice that the interior ring of the rim is painted white. That would be the correct color for this model. If you owned a red car, then this interior would be red. The windows are all stamped. Our glass is all original except for the windshield. If we take a look inside, the first thing we notice is the red leatherette seats, the correct color. If you look at the front of the dash, the steering wheel is original. If we look down below towards the gas pedal or roller pedal, and you can also see the lever for the reserve tank for the gas tank. Okay, so let's move around to the back of the car. The first thing, obviously, is the oval window. We had the large vents, which got smaller the next year because the window got bigger. We have the beautiful sculptured W on the engine lid. This would be the last year for that. That's the original engine. I'll start it up. Okay, so let's come along to the passenger side of the car. The first thing that you'll see is the Parahouse clock that came out of Switzerland, and that's an 8-day wind-up clock. Keeps perfect time. Ashtray, a glove box with the original owner's manual. The battery down below here is the original top on the top of the battery. It's 6-volt battery, and the bracket and the clamp that holds it down. And we did add 3-point seat belts onto this car into the pillars for safety reason. This car did not even have lap belts. So I think that covers the car. I hope you enjoyed that. I would like to say thank you to Christopher Loan for everything he's done for the Volkswagen, the classic Volkswagen business, and brought so many memories back for all of us. So thank you, Chris, for everything that you do.
So when I was about 16 years old, my dad started fooling around with these cars. I wanted to go to college. We didn't have a lot of funds, so we started working on cars. And we started doing repair jobs, brakes and shocks, and that turned into engine jobs. And then I was riding up and down the sawmill at the Conic Parkway and all those highways right outside the city. And as soon as somebody broke down, I was right there with cash. And I would grab the car, bring it home, we'd turn it over, flip it, and fix it.
Oh, that's
and
great.
So we had a great time. And then we did that for several years, and I was able to pay my way right through college doing that.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
anyway, so our whole, I guess, life, we've had a bug in the family at one time or another. We spent 20 years in the military, and we had a 76 Beetle that we took all over the place. We drove it around Europe.
Fuel injection, right?
Yes, fuel, and we left the fuel injection. We didn't put the carburetor on, and it ran like a top.
Okay.
And then when we came back here, we came back to the States. And shortly after that, we were in Alabama for a while. We came up here, and I bought a 67. I had that for a while. And I think we were at the raceway down there in Thornburg, Virginia, and we were basically just walking around, and this oval was driving towards us.
Okay.
And so I said to a friend, I said, boy, I'd love to get my hands on one of the old ovals. I had a split years ago, but I never had the oval.
Okay.
And so the guy had jumped out and he went off somewhere, and we walked up to the car and looked at it, and there was a for sale sign in it. And people started gathering around the car, and they were complaining that, the oil was leaking and this was leaking that. And I'm underneath the car. I'm underneath the car, and I said, these are the original pans. I don't see any rust. I don't see any body damage.
Nice.
I opened and closed the door, and it closed perfectly. I said, this is a great find.
Yeah.
So I got the guy on the cell phone. He came back. I said, let's go for a ride. And we rode around the neighborhood for a while. Everything shifted perfectly. The engine ran great. And I just said, I'll take it. So
nice.
it was sitting in his garage for 28 years.
Oh.
And so we drove it back on Highway 95, 70 miles, 65 miles an hour. Fran following me in the truck.
No kidding. And on that original engine that was in it.
Yes. So we didn't know that at the time. I knew it's a 36 horsepower.
Yeah.
But we had to send it off to the museum in Germany, in Wolfsburg.
Okay. Yep.
So back then we sent off, and what a lot of people don't realize is that we got two documents. You get a general document that says where it was imported, what was on the car, and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But you can't send them the VIN number, and they'll tell you what the engine number is. We had to send them the engine number, and then they'll confirm if that was the engine was in the car when it was built.
Correct.
So we got that second document back, and we said, "Oh wow, this is just wonderful."
Yep. Very good.
And everything else I could find on the car was matching numbers, from axles to distributors to wheels to rim, everything.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
At that point, I really was going to decide, do I keep a patina or do I just redo the whole thing again?
Yeah.
And because the headliner was falling down, that kind of stuff, I said, well, I'm going to do it again, but it's not coming off the chassis. There's no need of separating this.
Okay.
So it still rides exactly like it did when it came off the assembly line.
Wonderful.
So we gutted the whole thing, took doors, windows, fenders, wiring harness. It was just a shell.
Good.
Yeah, just a shell. As a matter of fact, so Fran and I did most of the tear down, took it all apart. A friend of mine, he had sort of a network with a painter, and there's a guy that paints a lot of Porsches in the area.
Okay.
So he took the job on for painting. Actually, I have to stop for a second. You recognize that? That's one of your books.
Oh, for Shutterfly. Very good.
So we made a
Yes.
Shutterfly book.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I just wanted to show you one picture on it, if we can get it in there. So this is what we took it down to.
Oh, excellent. Yep.
So you can see everything came off of it.
And I have some of those pictures you sent me, so I'll throw those up for our audience as well, so they can see all that. And generally speaking, people call me and ask me, how much for a body and paint work. Now, I'm probably in one of the most expensive states here, where they're going to charge a lot for body and paint. Midwest, down south, Northwest, maybe it's not going to be as bad. But real estate here is high, so of course that all gets reflected down to the paint and body guy. Now, if you don't mind me asking, your body and paint work, what was the final cost for body and paint on your Beetle, which looks like a mirror to begin with?
Yeah, about 15,000.
15. Okay. Yep. Same here.
It was only because we did some extras too. Because when we had it torn down, we put the seat belt in there, the harness belt, right into the pillars.
Yep.
And we really was trying to get perfection out of it. Mm-hmm. So we had sort of a team, the painter, and there was a body guy that worked for the Mercedes deal over here that was very good too.
Okay.
So maybe the paint and the body was between 10 and 15.
Okay. Okay. And this was before COVID?
Oh yeah, this would have been about 4 years ago?
2018, 19.
Yeah, 2018, 2019.
Okay, because we've seen the spikes after COVID. Everything has spiked so much. with
Oh,
material costs and inflation, and then the shipping problems, getting materials in. I mean, it's been all passed down to, us hobbyists. If you want a really nice paint job these days, it's up there, guys. It's not like
I,
it used to be. So, yep.
Northern Northern Virginia is not a cheap place to live. It's probably fairly comparable to where you
To
are.
New York, yeah, I'm sure. Yep, yep.
but
I've had some people email and be like, "Oh, Chris, I went to a body shop and this guy wants to charge me 7,500 to paint and do the car," and I'm like, "Do it." I mean, that's unheard of nowadays. It really is. To get a nice looking job. I mean, for us, it's at least 15. My last convertible I did, my 54, it was about 18. To do, and he had to do heater channels and the bottoms of the rails, support rails, that sort of thing.
right.
Yeah, it's not a cheap hobby anymore, So
Yeah, I think the only body work that was really amazing because we took it down to the metal. The only body work was, I think, the front bonnet had a couple of spots on it, but
okay,
everything else there was really no. We had one little rust thing by the pedal down by the floorboard,
yeah,
and we corrected that. I mean, that was about it.
that's it. That's great. That's
So
wonderful. It's rare to find a car is so complete like what you have there now. I mean, when I started the business 15 years ago, I remember you could find these very often. Every couple of months you find a real solid candidate. It's matching. I mean, even ovals in, and people are like, "Oh, but you're in the Northeast. There must have been rusty cars up there." But I've been shocked a few times finding cars in Pennsylvania,
yep,
Jersey, South Jersey, and they're actually in really good shape. They just weren't abused. So you did have people that own their cars and they babied them. And
yeah,
you have a perfect example right there.
Yeah, I did a little research on the history of the car because I wanted to get that documented. So this car came into Boston Harbor in January of 1957,
Okay.
and it was shipped to Baltimore. A family called the Johnsons owned it for 25 years. They
Mm,
might have garaged it. Then they sold it to another guy in Baltimore
okay.
who really babied it, and he really took care of it and just I mean, when we took it apart, he had everything labeled, numbered,
Wow.
everything so well organized.
Nice.
Um,
he also he undercoated the heck out of the bottom, but he was a mechanic.
Okay.
Like Fran said, he just babied it to no end.
Nice.
And then something happened in the family. He had to sell it, and he sold it to the guy that we got it from. And he just had it in his garage with a bunch of other classic cars. He never drove it.
Okay.
Seldom drove it for 28 years.
Nice.
but it was the fellow in Baltimore who belonged to the Baltimore Volkswagen Club.
Uh-huh.
And when Barry Levinson was making the movie The Tin Men
Yes.
in Baltimore,
Hmm.
he he rented the car out. So we have the documentation that he provided to us,
Okay.
where pictures of it on the set. Danny Devito and Richard Dreyfuss being like introduced to the car
Oh,
for the
I'd love to
first time
show
on
that. I could
that.
probably get some movie clips of that car. I can throw them up
Who
here.
gets into that hot seat he's had it?
Take away your license forever. It just don't seem fair.
Boy, I bet I could sell a ton of these things.
This? Too silly looking.
I remember watching that movie years ago. I mean, that came out mid to late 80s?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And it was kind of funny because the guy who owned it at that time, he tells a funny story. He said he spent 3 days on a set with Dreyfuss and Devito, but he was going to drive the car during the movie, but he
Right.
had a beard. And they
Oh.
said, you got to shave your beard.
Yeah,
if you're gonna drive the car."
yeah.
He said, I'm not shaving my beard. So some other guy ended up driving.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's
Picture.
awesome.
So anyway, we have like a whole stack of pictures
Okay.
from the fellow.
Nice.
But
It's in two scenes of the movie. If you look at Hobbs' book, he only mentions one scene, but it's actually in the middle of the movie where they kind of foreshadow what's going to happen.
Yep, in the very end. I
And
remember
then
it
the
driving.
very,
Yep. I remember it driving in the distance in the very end, and where he's Dreyfuss saw it go by.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Very cool.
saying, what are we going to sell? What are we going to sell? And then
Right.
this car goes in front of them.
It's
The
so
movie
funny.
ends.
But when we got the car, we weren't even focused on it. I'm not even sure if we even realized it at the time. it was really the car that we just fell in love with right away.
Yeah, it's a beauty, man. The black and the red combination, you cannot beat that. I mean, it's just super classic to see that color combo. We have a 56 oval in the shop right now. That's why I got a little confused because they're
Yeah,
very
yeah.
close. But it's in horizon blue. And I know there's people that like that color. It's that baby blue, but it's got the darker blue seats that are in it. But nothing beats the black with the red combo. A
Yeah.
dark color like that with the red seat is just it's striking. And you saw a lot of Cadillacs in that period that had that color
Yeah.
combination. And so it's like Volkswagen was like touching that point back then with even the big boys, the bigger cars, just really making them stand out. So, but
Yeah, and you've got some beautiful cars up there. And last year was special because I think the gentleman from Texas flew in, right?
yeah, I had two of my clients come in. Yeah, one guy came in from South Dakota to see his two cars that we finished for him, and his was a 57 oval, which was that we painted again that evergreen metallic that everyone
Yeah,
seems to like.
beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful.
And then the other one was he went with the Bordeaux red, which would have been a split window era Beetle color, but he threw that on his 55 ragtop. So that was very cool. And then the other guy had a real special story where his 58 was been in the family since 58, came up, surprised his father, unveiled the car at the shop, and that was in the glacier blue. So
Yeah.
Volkswagen had some really nice stuff in the 50s. Their 50s colors were really nice, especially with the metallics.
Oh, yeah, the beautiful colors.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
it's just it's amazing because they seem to get more popular. I don't know what's going on with
I'm telling you, man, I question sometimes, I'm like, how long is the hobby got to keep going? How much longer? And then all I got to do is call my parts suppliers. I call up Carol from SoFine, or I call up my guy out in Portland now who took over West Coast Classic Restorations. And, he tells me, he's like, I'm months out to do work.
Wow.
Carol from SoFi, she says she's at least 16 weeks out.
Wow,
So, you know,
that's unbelievable. Yeah,
but
I've been following that one thing. I think bring a trailer. My God, it's crazy.
yep, yep.
It's
Bring a Trailer has been a nutty scene. It's just truly remarkable where they've gone. I mean, just a few years ago, you would have never thought to see numbers like this. So I think I saw a split window convertible Beetle just a few months ago go on oldbug.com.
Yep.
Black one with red interior,
Yes.
like similar to what you have, and they were asking 200,000 for the car.
My
So
gosh.
just like like this little old, and like you said in your video, what was it, $1,400?
Yeah, dollar per pound.
It really is truly something. So, but quickly tell me, what you rebuilt the engine on this Beetle?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So
Okay.
Art, your counterpart up there, Art down here,
Yep.
the master mechanic that retired from VW, wonderful guy. But he used to teach school on how to build the old 36.
Okay.
So he's a wonderful guy, and he's still doing some work too. Just
Nice.
unbelievable.
Oh, that's
A
great.
real expert.
Oh, that's nice. But you drove it back 70 miles prior to
Oh,
rebuild,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
she was okay.
Yeah, I was really deciding whether I was going to rebuild it, but the compression was good and everything. But I said, what
Okay.
the heck? I'm doing the whole car.
Yeah, might as
I,
well,
I've
right?
got I've got Art here who really knows the expert.
Okay.
And my plan now is probably when we come back from your place, I'm going to take the engine out and preserve it because
Oh, you told me that. Yeah.
Art has another one identical to it that he's built that we're going to throw in there.
Okay. Okay. Did you save like the original pistons and cylinders? Did you just like
Yes, I
hold
have
them?
them all right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
So on there now is what, a replacement?
Yeah, Westburg West. We bought
Okay.
the
Okay.
kid out of there. But the
Gotcha.
original crank and everything else.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. We sent the case out to California to get it line board, and then when we came back,
Oh.
then we put it all back together.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
We sent it to Fats Remco.
That Remco, yeah.
Yeah.
I just changed the names, but I think yeah.
That's
So that was
good.
an interesting thing. But
Yeah,
I still
that's
got the original distributors and coils and everything else.
oh, that's great. That's great, man. I mean, and are you looking to upgrade the new one going in a little bit or no?
I probably not. The only thing I'm wondering about is the muffler you always put on there. You put the A bar.
Yep.
I thought about putting that on there, but
It's
I don't know.
yeah. It gives you
I
a
don't
little.
know.
It does give you a little bump. I got to admit, it's probably a couple horsepower, maybe 3, 4 horsepower. And if you go with a bus distributor, the
Yeah,
010, and
yeah,
get rid of the vacuum advance, that combo together, it really seems like I drove my 54 yesterday to a car show on the Merritt Parkway going into Connecticut. And she just cruised, man. And and
wow,
I was doing 60, 65, and she wanted to go more. I could have pressed the pedal and she wanted to go more. So that little bit of breathability, is really, really good. So if you want to do that combo, you keep the muffler to the side, the original, and keep the
yeah,
original distributor. So, if God forbid you did want to sell it down the line, you have all that stuff. You,
right,
you can
right.
bundle it together. I mean, the A bar is not cheap though. So
No,
if
it's about six,
anybody's
700.
yeah, if anybody's interested in the A-Barth muffler, go to Wolfsburg West or go to Vintage Speed. They have the stainless steel mufflers. Those things look really cool. Very, very well built, the Vintage Speed muffler, but I like the sound of the Wolfsburg muffler better. It,
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out because I like the looks of it too.
it looks nice. It really
It
does.
does.
Just be careful. It does swoop under the rear apron.
Okay.
So if you go into like a driveway that then like goes up or a roadway that you could tend to scrape. And
Ah,
if you trailer the car anywhere, you
yeah,
just be careful, because they do go lower. The two pipes in general, a lot of times when we ship cars, these truckers put them on such a tilt that they do scrape, So it could be a little problematic there, but just be mindful.
yeah,
And
that's a good tip because I know when I come off the trailer, I know my pipes are getting very close as they are. So I
sure,
have to check that out.
yeah, for sure. But it's an awesome car, man. I love it. I'm going to put your B-roll up so people can see some more footage. You've got all the details there. That's definitely something I'm going to keep in mind for my next guest that want to come on if they want to do their own video. That's probably a really nice little touch for everybody. It's a little easier on all of us here. You technically, at least you're behind the camera.
It
Instead
was
of,
really funny. I think I mentioned to you, it was really funny when we did it because the neighbors were wondering, gee, he keeps on coming down and going into the driveway. And,
I
and every
love your
time,
grounds. Your grounds, by the
Fran,
way, are beautiful.
and then we filmed the whole thing one time. We forgot to put the mics on.
Oh, yep.
So
It's all that's all growing. I mean, when I first started doing stuff like you would not believe I could talk for so long and then I'm not mic'd up and I see myself talking in silence. It's just unreal. But yeah, you learn. It's all good,
well,
So
again, I want to say thank you for what you do because you have kept this business alive,
cool.
and it's just wonderful. All the videos, I don't know how you keep up with it. And
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's 15 years on YouTube. I've been banging away at it and just throwing up when I can. I try to keep a schedule. It is tough. But when you're running a business, there's a lot of tentacles to running a business. I
yeah,
don't have a restaurant business by any means, so I don't have volume like that.
right.
But look, when it comes to running a business, there's a lot of facets to it. And you got to keep an eye on it. There's always things thrown at you every day. So like I might go in on a Monday today and I have exactly what I want to do, but there's always a curveball that gets thrown at me. And I got to then put attention to that,
So
so
let me ask you this. Do you have some young folks that you're bringing up to learn about bugs and everything?
I'm trying, there's a few young guys that email me that are followers of mine. They thrown some good ideas out at me as me being like some sort of a mentor or a teacher and having a course like at the shop actually.
Yeah,
And I mean, with an old classic chalkboard,
yes.
that kind of thing. And it would be nice to bring some youth up because this is what's going to keep it going. Even if it comes to, converting it to electric, I
Yep.
get calls on that a lot. Hey, could you convert my Beetle to electric? And I've been meaning to do it. I know the guys out in California that sell the kits. But it's something I got to really jump on, I think, because it's the future. It really is.
Yeah. I think
So
a lot of businesses and everything are really struggling right now is how do you blend the experience like
yeah,
me and the new and then even the
yes.
younger to keep the profession going.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and it's a shame some of the schools nowadays are not teaching trade or giving that alternative option to a kid. Like you don't, we all want to go to college, but there is an alternative. You could
Yes,
learn to be an electrician, a plumber, an architect or something like that, and there's demand for that, and the
absolutely.
income is and the income is good. It's a great alternative. I know it's not glamorous sometimes, but that's a great thing that really needs to be taught. It needs to be. So maybe someone like me and you and we put something together
Yeah,
and help the youth out. But
yes.
well,
I'll do some thinking on it.
all right, that sounds good. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the fall cruise.
Okay, sounds great.
All
Sounds
right.
awesome. If anyone wants to know, October 29th is my fall cruise this year. If it's a rain date, would be the 30th. And it's my 11th year doing the Fall Foliage cruise. And even if I go to Florida, guys, I'm going to be doing the cruise. I'm going to be flying up
Oh,
and
wow.
still doing it. Yeah, so it's my time to come up to this New York and experience the fall, during September, October time. So,
That is
but
great.
well, it's always a pleasure, guys, and
Okay.
please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Anybody who wants to be interviewed like this would show us your dub. Just pop me a comment below this video, and we could do it up. So, Mike,
All right.
Fran, it's been great, and love your bug, and I can't wait to see it in October.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
All right, well, bye bye.
Bye.